Okay, so a very good example of that, sometimes disconnect, right, between, what is being detected by specialized sensory cells and your perceptual experience, which is going to be happening, you know, in other parts of the brain, not in your eye, but it's going to be happening in parts of, we're going to see visual cortex, and networks that work their way into the temporal lobes of your brain and into the parietal lobes of your brain. But if you've ever gone outside, like for example at night, at dusk, and there's not very good light, and you suddenly look to the side because your eye was caught by something, and you see a raccoon, you're convinced there's like a raccoon right there, um, and yet you pull out your iPhone and you put on the light, and you realize there's a bunch of like sticks or something, and there's a piece of trash bag caught in it, and it's rustling, and you realize that it is not a raccoon at all, and yet for a moment there you fully perceived a raccoon. And this happens to us again, for example, if you're in a particular location and you see somebody and they look familiar and you're like, oh, that's that person. You go, hello, how are you? And then you realize, to your chagrin, that it's not that person. Oh, I'm sorry, you look just like somebody else. But for a moment there, your perception was quite vivid and intense and real. It felt extraordinarily real. So this is what I like about Virginia Woolf's quote here. Whatever it touches, right, it fixes and makes permanent. So these questions about what is real. Well, I think this is has a great deal of importance to think about this, because that raccoon, that other person's face, those were real to you. You perceived them. So when people come and report, that they were perceiving certain things, they're experiencing certain things, it's important not to discount the reality, really, of their perceptions. It may not match, what's actually out here in the environment, but it doesn't make the actual perceptual experience, feel any less real.